What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner. Today we have a pretty fun topic to talk about, and I know it's going to get some of you guys arguing down in the comments, but let's do it anyways. So we're going to be talking about what is the best gun for home defense. So start fighting down below. But no, not really. But yeah, this is a topic that people ask all the time, like what's the best gun for home defense? And I think it's both a simple answer and a complex answer. The simple answer is a gun that you know how to use and you have ammo for. That's the simple answer, right? Like guns are made for various purposes, but most of them can be used for self-defense if needed. I think it can be a little overcomplicated at times, but if we're talking what is like the most effective gun for self-defense, I do have some of my own opinions, and I'm not an expert by any means, but I shoot a lot of guns and I've shot a lot of different guns. So I do have my own opinions, and if you're here watching this, you're here to listen to those opinions. So let's get into it. I would say the best gun, again, is going to be the one that you know how to use, but let's say you're fairly new to guns, right? I'd say there's a specific order that I kind of went in when I first got into guns, and it was also due to my age, like I was 18, so the very first gun I got was an AR-15. It wasn't this one, but it was an AR-15. It was a 16-inch rifle. All I could afford at the time was the rifle and the iron sights, and it just took time, right? Like, you buy this stuff and you train with it in the hopes of being better, and if you ever had to use it, you would know what to do, but obviously we all start from somewhere. So I'd say whatever gun you pick, just train with it as best you can and learn how to use it properly, learn how to work malfunctions, because every gun, doesn't matter who makes it, can malfunction and probably will malfunction at some point. If you're not getting that, then you may not have enough rounds to it, or you just have that magic gun that doesn't break or have any issues. But most guns will have something happen at some point, and it's very important to know how to clear those malfunctions. So yeah, just learn the gun, whatever you buy. But again, my very first gun was an AR-15, and then my next gun was a shotgun, and then my next gun was a handgun. My goal was to get all three, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in any particular order. I think the most practical guns to get in order would probably be a handgun, because it's a gun that you can use for home defense and something that you can carry. It's kind of hard to carry a shotgun or a rifle. But yeah, handgun I would say is a good first gun if you're old enough, because you got to be 21 to buy a handgun. But yeah, handgun would make a good first gun, and it's the hardest skill to learn, I would say, because it requires the most time to be the best with a handgun. Rifle, I'm not saying it's easy, but you can pick up skill pretty fast. Same thing with shotgun. As long as you put the dot on whatever you're gonna hit, it's gonna hit it. I mean, yeah, they're not too complicated. But yeah, I think handgun would be a very good first gun, and you can definitely train with that for home defense or for carry. Shotgun is always kind of known as the main home defense gun, and the reason is, one, it has the most devastating stopping power. Like a 12 gauge buckshot or slug, it's absolutely crazy how much damage that one round can do. So I'd say a shotgun has the most devastation, period. Like no ifs, ands, or buts, most devastation. So shotgun is very good, and they're probably one of the most affordable options. This wasn't my first shotgun, but this was one of my first shotguns. This is a Remington 870 Magnum, and it was a police trade-in shotgun. At the store I work at, we used to get lots of these, like a lot of 10 or 20. This one was even numbered. My dad and I each bought one, and these were like $200 back in 2015. So I regret not buying more, because it would have been so cool to have a whole rack of these just lined up. That's how our shop had them. We would get them in lots of like 10 to 20. And yeah, I only bought one of these. My dad bought one, but I also got one that was wood furniture with a slightly shorter barrel. But yeah, we were paying like $200 for police trade-in Remington 870s, for Mossbergs. It was crazy, and that was like 2015. Now something like this you might find for maybe $300 to $500 depending. I'd say 3 to 4 is probably a good in between. But yeah, Remington 870 was my very first shotgun. Mine had the wood furniture. Still have it, it's just in my office. But yeah, they make great home defense shotguns. That or Mossberg. Like, this is probably my main home defense shotgun right now. And this one I pulled out of my safe, but this one's chambered. This is a safe direction for me to point it. But yeah, shotgun is the most devastating stopping power, so I like having a shotgun next to my bed. But I will say, spoiler alert, I have rifle, shotgun, handgun next to my bed. But that's just me. You don't have to be that way. I don't have any kids to worry about, so it's just me and my girlfriend and my dogs, and they're not going to mess with this stuff. So yeah, shotgun, most devastating, and honestly, if I heard someone kicking down my door, I'm gonna probably grab this because I know how devastating that first round is. And the way I have mine set up is, again, this is chambered, but this is a safe direction. So my first round is a 3-inch Magnum buckshot. If I make contact with this round, it's relatively done. But if I need more rounds, my next rounds after that are 4 buck. So these have 27 pellets in there, And my reasoning for that is, let's say I needed another shot. One, close range, it's still going to do some damage, but if there's a little bit more distance between me and whatever, it will have a little bit more spread than the double-aught 3-inch Magnum. So that's just my reasoning for it, and it will be softer shooting than the 3-inch, but again, that 3-inch is meant for stopping whatever. If I had to shoot through a door, it's 100% going to go through that door. But yeah, 4-buck is my shot after that. And yeah, again, this is a Mossberg 500. It's the ATI Scorpion edition. I like it. It's got a pick rail on top for a red dot. I just have a basic red dot on here. I have kind of a basic light. I like high-end lights on rifles and pistols, but on a shotgun, to me, it doesn't matter that much because it's a very close-range weapon, and this holds up just fine. As far as my side saddle, I have double-aught buck on here. This is just 2 3/4 inch. But yeah, again, shotgun, most devastating gun there is, period. And then I'd say rifle is another good option. So this is one of my home defense rifles. You can choose whether you want to do suppressed or not suppressed. I have the scar right there, but I'll get into that in a sec. So this is just a standard 16-inch rifle, nothing too special. I have iron sights, I have a red dot, and I have a light. And then it's all very usable. I have a sling on here too if I needed to. I don't know where I would see myself grabbing a rifle. Maybe if there was civil unrest on my street and it's a whole mob, right? Like having more capacity is going to be a little bit better than a shotgun. This is a topic that's probably going to get some people arguing in the comments. I already see it and you guys are going to be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, again, this is my opinion and I shoot guns. I know how to use all these, I would say pretty effectively, but yeah, ultimately it's up to you. This is just my viewpoints on it. But if you're gonna do anything, I think having a light is good because chances are if someone breaks in while you're home, it might be at night. And I don't plan on turning on all my lights. I'd rather just have the element of surprise and being able to use the light when I need to. But yeah, having a light on there is very important. And then as far as a red dot goes, if you're using a rifle, having something that's good battery life is important. So I love my EOTechs, right? But if I let this sit for 6 months without checking on it, the batteries on EOTechs, which are CR123 batteries, they're good, but they don't last a long time. I could leave this in my room for the next 5 to 10 years and not touch it, and I know when I go to turn this optic on, it's gonna work. And yes, I don't have this optic on because if I needed to, one, if it's close enough that I can't turn it on, I'm just gonna point and shoot anyways. But chances are, if I hear someone kicking down my door, I'm gonna be able to turn the optic on. And you might think, well, you're not going to know that. Well, I think I train a lot enough to know I need to get my optic ready because I'm going to get it prepared for what I need and I know how to turn the optic on my gun. I just turn that and it's on. So something to think about, but if you're going to leave an aim point on, it's going to last forever. You can't leave an EOTech on. So just know that whatever, again, I know what optic does what and which one is least likely to turn on if I need it because I've picked up guns out of my safe and I thought the optic was good, but they're dead. And yeah, that just happens. But aim points and Trijicons, depending on what you have, relatively speaking, the batteries are going to last years, especially if you leave them off. Lights, it's always good to check on your lights. And like when I made this video, I pulled this one out and this light was dead. And this takes 2 CR123 batteries. So I swapped those out. Now I have a working light. But yeah, it's always good to check on your lights, your optics, everything. Streamlight's pretty good. I don't have any drain on here. Again, aim point's really good. No issues there, but I do have iron sights. So even if my red dot's dead, I know how to shoot with iron sights and it's just popping that cap forward. And then everything is chambered. So this is chambered. Safety's on. My shotgun's chambered. My handgun's chambered. Basically everything's chambered because for me, I don't want to have to rack it. I'm not worried about them hearing me rack the gun. If they hear me rack the gun and that doesn't turn them away, now they just know I have a gun, whereas if they don't hear anything, they don't know. And in my head, if someone's gonna break in while I'm home and they see cars on the driveway, in my head, they're here to do some damage. So not something I wanna take the chance of. I just keep my guns loaded if they're for home defense. Now, if I'm putting them in the safe, I don't have it chambered and whatnot. I don't like storing my ammo in my safe with my guns because if there's ever a fire, I don't need it killing my guns in the safe. And then as far as, let's say a fancier gun, right? So I work in a gun store. I do bring guns to work every day. It's just something me and my coworkers like to do. We show off guns. We show customers if they want to build up guns because we sell scars in the store. So if I show someone my built up scar, it's easier to sell them on certain accessories. So I do bring some fancy guns to work and I have no issues using this for self-defense, but I don't leave this out every single day or chances are it's with me. So I'm not opposed to using short barrel rifles or suppressors or whatever for self-defense. I do think there are some people that are like, oh, I just need cheap guns for home defense because I don't want to lose an expensive gun if I have to defend myself. Well, one, I think that's a wrong way to think about it because chances of you needing it are slim, which is a good thing. We don't want to have to use this. But two, is your life not worth what you spend your money on, right? Like some people are like, oh, I want to buy this crappy $200 High Point or whatnot for home defense. And I'm not saying I don't own a High Point. I have one. It's stashed somewhere. But it's not the gun that I would care about. Like, I don't care if this protects me or a High Point protects me. It's more or less I'm going to use whatever's accessible to me. And I would choose guns that are a little bit better quality. Yeah, I don't think it's a great mindset to have that, like, you can't afford to use a certain gun for self-defense. Your life is worth whatever you've spent on that gun. If I got this gun today and tonight someone breaks in and, I had to use it, I'm going to be upset that I had to, do that, but I'm not going to be upset about the cost. If I saved up for it once, I can save up for it again. And suppressor and all that doesn't matter to me. Like, my life is worth all that. So just something to think about. But yeah, as far as rifles go, I mean, it's kind of the same with shotgun or handgun, right? As long as you train with it and you know how to use it, I think it's fine. One thing for certain people, you need to know what's behind what you're shooting. And that's for everyone, actually. But know where, like, if you have kids, if you have an apartment with neighbors, rifle is going to blow right through most walls. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff where I'm at. I can literally use my Barrett 50 cal if I needed to, and I'm not going to be at risk of hurting anyone else. But yeah, really just know what is around you and where those rounds are going, because even if you use a rifle to defend yourself, it could still go through. And if you have kids or anything else, that's just something that you're all responsible for. So yeah, just something to think about. And this topic is just to help you guys out. If you're new to this, I'm sure there are people that are just as skilled as me or 10 times more skilled than me that are all gonna have their own opinions, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not against anyone else's opinion. This is just mine. And then as far as handguns go, this one's not chambered because I just pulled it out, but yeah, Glock 19, Glock 17, these are both really good handguns. They are the most famous handguns ever and the most popular handguns there are. I don't care if you like Glock or not. If you can't shoot a Glock, chances are you should probably learn how to, because it's the most common handgun in the world, or at least in the United States. But Glock is probably the most common handgun in the world, and I think it's very good to know how to shoot one, even if you don't have one. It's my 2 cents. But yeah, if you're new to handguns, I would say Glock, you can't go wrong with it. Obviously, people have their opinions on Glock versus SIG or whatever. It's like Chevy versus Ford, right? I've owned both. They're both relatively fine. You can definitely have your preferences, but if you buy a Glock, chances are it's going to work right out of the box. I've had issues with other companies where their guns were not up to my standards out of the box, and they're name brand companies. So Glock, I haven't had any issues with, and I have like 10 of them. So Glock was my first handgun. I still love it. I carry my main like duty style gun now is a Shadow Systems. So this is like a Glock clone, but I really like it. I have like 10,000 rounds on this gun. I've shot more rounds through this than my Glocks, but yeah, I really like it. I have it on an appendix right here. So this is one of my daily carry guns, but if it's not on me, it's next to my bed. Other than that, I mean, any carry gun works good for home defense. This is a Glock 43 and a Smith & Wesson Shield. These both only hold 8 rounds. So if you're looking for specifically just a carry gun, smaller is easier to carry, but this is not the greatest home defense gun. Neither one of these ones have lights. And again, I like lights for home defense guns. They're good for carry guns in general. I just don't have them on those, but I will be getting a smaller gun at some point with a light, but this is my main one. So this is my main handgun, period. This is a Shadow Systems. It's the same size as a Glock 19. I have a Trijicon RMR and a Streamlight on here. And you'll notice most of my handguns that have lights, they all have Streamlights. I have Surefire too. They're just a lot more expensive, but Streamlight's really good for the money. And these are 1,000 lumen lights. That doesn't look like 1,000 lumens, but I will say when they get dirty or you've had them for years, they don't look like 1,000 lumens anymore. This one should be a little bit more fresh, so much brighter. But yeah, Streamlight makes really good stuff for pistols, for rifles. Surefire is good too. But yeah, I mean, these are just some small talking points about what I think about guns for self-defense. Again, I have a rifle, shotgun, and handgun next to my bed. So I think if you're looking to get into it, again, handgun's probably the most practical first gun because you can carry it on your person and have it as a home defense weapon. At that point, I would say a Glock 19 because you can make this work. It is small enough to conceal carry. It's not the most ideal conceal carry, but it's a very good one. If you're going to conceal carry it, instead of the TLR1, I like the TLR7A because it'll be a little bit more flush. I do want to get one of those. I just don't have one. But yeah, aside from that, again, shotgun's the most devastating, but it's not practical for running around with, ideally. Like, I would want more capacity. So if it's end of the world scenario, I would choose a rifle. But I say, why not all three? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if this got your brain thinking, that's kind of the point. If you guys are arguing down in the comments, that's kind of the point too. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for my next video.